Where do I start? I get asked that question so many times. I first want to make this particular statement. Property investing is a profitable business if and only if you take property investing and yourself seriously, and you invest in the right training and ask the right questions. So I can already see that you off to an awesome start. Where do I start? Learn property investment strategies. That is what we'll be unpacking right now. Know how and when to buy and sell. Avoid mistakes as far as possible. Use the skills that you are developing right now to get to the right answers that you're looking for, because then at least then you will know that you have done your best. There are going to be mistakes along the way. Sometimes you may be a little bit excited and you may forget to put a 0 in at some given point in your numbers. So it's always good to have somebody look over things like that. So in as much as I say avoid mistakes, I say that a bit tongue in cheek, because it's also from our mistakes that we learn. Learn about tax. I am not a tax consultant, and there's a disclaimer that I make whenever I talk about tax. So I have spoken to an attorney and asked an attorney, how best could I structure my property portfolio for where I'm going? And he eloquently took me through various steps. All he wanted to know was, what is your objective? Where are you going to with this? And therefore, he was able to say the best structure for where you are going to and what you are wanting to do then will be X, Y, and Z. Plan long-term wealth building. And I find the best way to do that is to have your short-term plan in place, your medium-term plan in place, to make your long-term wealth building strategy come to life. Because we can't always look on tomorrow and we've not done anything right now. We will constantly just look at tomorrow for a brighter day. But if we don't take action right now with what we have, that long-term wealth building strategy is not going to come to fruition. At the end of March, I'll be running a 4-day workshop. Starting the 28th of March until the 31st of March, no evening is the same. It's a continuous 8 to 10 hour of learning how to get started in property investing. Why would I do this? At the beginning of the hard lockdown in 2020, when others were giving hundreds and thousands and millions of US, I had decided to give from my abundance of the education that I put into motion every day. My name is Genevieve Stafford Jack, and I'm a property entrepreneur, and I use various property investing strategies to get me ahead of the curve on a daily basis. I would like to share and serve from the best of my knowledge and experience with you. Will you be there at our 1-year anniversary? Go down in the comments below, click on the link to register, and I'll send you the links and reminders closer to the time. Changing your beliefs. I do believe in where we get started is we also need to look at who we are, the personal keys to success. I believe these are the personal keys to success, because changing our beliefs, I had gone into a free seminar thinking I need loads and loads of money. Boy, was I wrong. I needed to change the belief system up here. When we clear out our minds and we truly understand where it is that we're going, changing the beliefs where we believe I need all of this money to get me going somewhere. I believe the reason why many people fail is because many people are waiting for funding. They're waiting for something to happen, and they are not going to make things happen. So in order for us to have things happen, we need to change the belief system that we have. And the belief system I'm talking about is how property investing works. Traditionally, you would have to buy, they position this, buy this new building It's still in building, the builders, the contractors are still in the building phase. So which means you'll get it, with no transfer fees and no initiation. Like there's a whole lot of no fees that you'll be able to get it. And then when they go on to phase 2, your property investment that you've just bought, then all of a sudden gains this market advantage, because then it shoots up in terms of pricing. And then they say, rent it out. Have your rent cover your bond, subsidize the monthly operating expenses such as electricity, levies, rates and taxes and the likes. Subsidize it for about 4 or 5 years, because what will happen is, on a year-to-year basis with inflation, your rental will go up. And as your rental goes up, this is where your bond is sitting. Yes, there'll be basis points that may have been moved or whatever, but it's going to move ever so slightly. So if it does move, it's going to look something like this. So it may start on this note. And as your rent starts going up, your bond might start moving a little bit, but your rent will go up. And then there's this gap. And that gap, with the extra rental money that you have right now, will then be able to source for your monthly operating expenses. That is the model I grew up with understanding. That is the model I felt, well, it's going to happen sometime soon. But for me, between 2008 and 2014, it was 6 years of supplementing. It was a frustration. It was such a frustration, all the stuff that I had gone through. I didn't see the wood for the trees. However, when I got into this journey again, after the education, I now started seeing things differently. And that for me was the key to success that I needed to understand and really resonate within me. So changing your beliefs towards property investing. That's key number 1. Key number 2, it can be difficult to keep motivated. I certainly want to raise my hand. Some days I'm like, oh, can heaven open and money just rain down from there for 5 minutes, I know there's some days I have those moments. However, when I encourage you to do this, I encourage you from a perspective of start changing certain small habits. Yes, you're going to have those days where you are not motivated at all to take action. But if that day you just listen to a podcast, what if that habit of listening to podcasts and to YouTube and to TED Talks and to all things property just encouraged you? Already that is taking action, because you are creating this desire in your space. You are creating, but not too much of it, right? Don't just say, this week I don't feel like anything and I'll just listen to podcasts and do nothing with the information. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm just saying is there are going to be days where it feels glum and you feel like, I'm tired, I can't, I don't want to. Like there's some days I'm like, I just don't want to, But take a small step and listen to that podcast that you downloaded weeks ago that you promised yourself you're going to listen to. Sometimes just pick up that book and read 2 pages. Other times, just lay there, close your eyes, and meditate for a short while on where you're going to with property investing. I believe these are the personal keys to success, because the more you bring in new information and you apply it, you don't recognize the person that you see in the mirror anymore. Why? Because that person is evolving. And this is why I touch on personal keys to success. Number 3, changing your current perspectives and perceptions. I needed to change the perception that I needed this to keep moving, right? I didn't know that at some given point, you're going to learn about this, but just work with me with this particular example. Could I source deals? I didn't know that if I source deals, 2, 3, 4 deals, I can create an accumulation of about, say, 100,000 or 150,000. And then I can look for an ultimate deal, right? And find a joint venture partner and say to the joint venture partner, I'm going to bring in the skills. I have found a deal and I'm bringing in the renovation money. If you can get a bond and the closing costs that go with the bond, you and I could work side by side. Yeah, that is such a possibility. That's why I'm saying I am so excited to share about all of this, but I needed to contain my excitement so that you don't think you're dealing with the maniac from the beginning. But yes, that is me. And those are the perspectives and perceptions. I thought to myself, oh my days, I need to change the way I do things and see things and absolutely experience things. Not so that I change who I am, but when I receive information, I can dissect it, apply it. And when I apply it, that is key. Because if I am applying information, okay, and it brings me results, boy, oh boy, your whole being shifts. Your whole being shifts. I can remember my first deal. I stood and made a proposal and shared with somebody, this is what you can get from X, Y, and Z. The power that came with that, the excitement that came with that, it was a whole new ball game. Now, the fourth key to success is developing the new rules of success. What I found is that when I'm busy with something, the less I talk about it, the less I feel external pressure. Others feel the more I talk about it, the more that I am encouraged and the more I will see it to its end. So for me, my new rules of success was sometimes just keep quiet long enough because you're trying out something new and you have no clue on how it's going to pan out. So I don't need people here in my ears. And that's the way I did things for a while. Now I do tend to talk about it as I'm going along the journey so that I can share and encourage with others about my journey. And then breaking out of comfort zones. So breaking out of my comfort zone was, wow. It was just a wow. Because right now I feel like I've been living 3 years out of a zone. I don't even remember what my comfort zone looked like. Some days I do long for it because of the feeling it reminds me of, but I don't have a picture of what it actually is. So breaking out of your comfort zone, you create different levels of who you are, different levels of you start finding out, wow, is this the person I'm turning into be? Not that you were not proud of the one that you were yesterday, but you go to certain different extents, man. And breaking out of your comfort zone is not child's play. It is simple, but it is hard work. So what are you after? Your reason for doing what you're doing, is it strong enough to keep you going? And last but certainly not least, when you start learning these new things, I find the most important thing of everything, even before you refine the skill, is taking action. Taking action will put you in good stead because you won't just be a consumer of information. You will be somebody that goes straight for the jugular and you make things happen. I can guarantee you, if you get into this constant space of taking action, doing things imperfectly is okay because you still learn while you're doing things imperfectly. And anyway, it is an illusion. Perfect? What is perfect? And on that perfect note, I leave you with this particular thought. When last have you taken action? How did you feel when you took action? And what was the result of you taking action?